If I ranked every grocery store I've ever been to in the entire world, Trader Joe's probably comes in dead last. Today, we're kicking off a new series where we're testing pre-made store-bought pizza doughs one grocery store at a time until we find out which one is actually worth your money. Because let's face it, homemade pizza dough is delicious. But sometimes you just don't have the time, effort, or willpower to make it. For the first episode, we got every pizza dough we could find at Trader Joe's and we're gonna pit them head to head. To keep this fair, I'm judging each dough on 4 things: price, stretchability, bake, and taste. Because a cheap dough might be awesome, but it's not worth it if it fights you every step of the way. And in every episode, the winner from each store goes to the leaderboard. Eventually, we're gonna pit all those doughs head to head. First up, plain pizza dough from Trader Joe's. $1.69 per dough ball. Pretty reasonable, pretty standard issue. Nothing too fancy here. Next up, Trader Joe's garlic and herb pizza dough. Also $1.69, so same price as the plain dough. Obviously, a couple extra ingredients in there, garlic and herbs, or herbs. All in all, I think the main difference between these two is probably just gonna be the taste. Value seems good. We'll see how easy they are to work with, and that is probably gonna contrast with the gluten-free pizza dough. $3.99, more than twice as much as either of these doughs. Base for this one is modified tapioca starch. Probably gonna have to hit this one with the rolling pin. Each of these is 454 grams, which Trader Joe's says makes a 12-inch pizza. I'd assume that gets you closer to 16 inches. It also says you should only let them sit for 30 minutes after pulling them out of the fridge. Usually, I pull out my dough and let it sit for about 2 hours. That's a much safer spot, and I bet it'll be happier to stretch the longer we let it sit. I mean, they literally just put a dough ball in a plastic bag. That's probably why it's $1.69. Gluten-free. I've never worked with gluten-free dough before. I'm not really excited to work with gluten-free dough. And it's apparently really expensive if this sucker is $4. The garlic and herb smells really good. Oof. Gluten-free, no gluten, no structure. I'm actually just gonna let that one sit as is. Whenever you're making pizza dough balls, 2 things you're looking for: a nice tight smooth skin, and you're looking for the seam on the bottom to be closed. And now, we wait. All right, it's been 30 minutes, and according to the Trader Joe's instructions, the dough should be ready to stretch. I don't think it will be. I'm gonna check it and see if they're right. They kind of passed the poke test. They're still pretty cold, and we want them to be a lot closer to room temp before we go to stretch. And now's probably a good time for my first confession of the series. I have beef with Trader Joe's. If I ranked every grocery store I've ever been to in the entire world, Trader Joe's probably comes in dead last. The parking lots are chaotic. The produce, hit or miss. And if Trader Joe's ran the world, we'd all be living off of frozen food and little suspiciously delicious desserts. And now I have a new problem. Their pizza dough instructions. And honestly, it's probably the worst offense yet. Because 30 minutes for these doughs, not in the backyard pizza lab. I'm gonna give these another hour, get my oven preheated, start getting my toppings set up, and then we're gonna bake some pizzas. All right, it's now been 2 hours and I think we're ready to bake. I really don't know what's going on here. This is a trip. Starting off with our classic plain. This one actually opened up pretty nicely. It's not the most extensible dough I've worked with, but it's perfectly serviceable. This is a 16-inch peel. Toppings-wise, we're keeping it classic. If these doughs won't make a great pizza with the classics, there's no point of having them in your kitchen. Getting some nice oven spring off the bat. Happy with that. Overall, it's easy to work with and picking up some great color in the oven. For your basic store-bought pizza dough, I'm pretty happy with it. Good bake. That's good. Okay, let's rate it. Price, $169. That's great. I'm gonna give that a 9 out of 10. Stretchability, I'm gonna have to go 6 out of 10. And it's losing a lot of points because of the instructions on the back of the dough bag. Half hour and this would not have stretched like it did. And the way it stretched after sitting out for 2 hours was fine. It wasn't awesome, but it was perfectly fine. Bake, I'm gonna go 7. Pretty average, but it's got great bottom color. Not too bad of a crumb in there. And the taste is great. I'm gonna go 7.5. Perfectly solid, New York-ish pizza crust. So overall, we'll call this 7.5 out of 10. It's a great baseline pizza dough. If you're going store-bought, I don't see why you wouldn't get this one. And that's coming from someone who beats with Trader Joe's. I think the garlic and herb is gonna beat it on flavor. So let's bake it off and find out. Right off the bat, this one feels a little tougher to work with than the plain. It's still easy enough to stretch, but you can really feel all those dried herbs in there. We're keeping the toppings the same for a clean comparison and baking it low and slow in the Uni Coda 2 Max. Just like the plain, this one's baking up just fine. We're getting some great oven spring, it's holding its structure well, and we're picking up some really gorgeous color. Garlic and herb. It's good, it's subtle. I don't know if I like it more than the classic. Price, I gotta go same, $1.69. Really can't be beat, 9 out of 10. Stretchability, I'm gonna go 5 out of 10. Definitely worse than the classic, even though it had a little bit longer to ferment and relax at room temp, so in theory it should have been a little easier to stretch. Bake, 7 out of 10, happy with it. And taste, this is where it's gonna get controversial. A lot of this probably depends upon exactly what you top this with, but standard issue, pepperoni pie, no bells and whistles. It's just not the best vessel for it, so I'm gonna go 6 out of 10. A little worse than the classic, which I thought was a much better base for just like your classic New York style pep. Overall, we're going 6.5 on the garlic and herb. Not what I thought, but it's what we got. Now let's see if the gluten-free can even make a pizza. Last and certainly least, gluten-free. I'm not making this for anyone who is gluten-free, so I'm gonna cover it in flour and hope it stretches, or I can make some sort of a pizza out of it. And right off the bat, this one feels wrong. Oof. Had to bring out the big guns. I'm not making this video to hate on gluten-free foods. This doesn't really feel worth it. I mean, this is $4. Tell me in the comments what you think that looks like. Miraculously, we are getting some oven spring. I've made a lot of pizza, and I've messed up a lot of pizza. And this is by far the worst pizza I've ever made. My gluten-free friends, I am so sorry that this is what you have. It's like roadkill. I have to taste it. Oh, this is pathetic. Burnt. Not good at all. Well, that one's disqualified. All right, final ranking time. No surprises here, but in dead last, we have that gluten-free pizza dough. In second place, we have the Fancy Pants garlic and herb pizza dough. It smelled great right out of the bag, and I had high hopes for this one, but it ended up being pretty disappointing. I think it would work fine as a focaccia, but it's a terrible base for your basic pizza toppings, which means the best dough you can buy at Trader Joe's is the classic plain pizza dough. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't fancy, it was just solid. Great price point, easy to handle, held up well in the uni, and would act as a great base for all your big city slice streams. That means Trader Joe's plain pizza dough is the first dough to enter our overall rankings. Now, be sure to let me know in the comments what store you want me to test next, because we're doing this one store at a time until we find out which dough is the absolute best. And if you want to make better pizza at home, hit subscribe. I test everything pizza, so you don't have to. And if you want to go even deeper, sign up for the Pizza Lab Rats membership. Free access to guides, early access to content, and member-only chat rooms to help you troubleshoot your bakes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time in the Backyard Pizza Lab.